Hello, I'm so glad that you downloaded the Quickstart checklist for becoming a new OBM or building your own online business, whatever that may be. I wanted to give you a little bit more insight as to what you can do with this checklist and what to expect from it and how to properly utilize it. So let's go right in here. Starting with number one, define your services, start with one offer, and determine your target market. This is really important because when you're getting started in the entrepreneurial world, it is so easy to be like, oh, I have this idea, I have this idea, I have this idea. I have all of these skills, I can offer all of these things to people. And when you do that, you, one, confuse your audience, and two, confuse yourself. And one of my favorite quotes is if you're speaking to everybody, you're speaking to nobody. So you want to start with just one thing that you feel super confident about and that you can easily talk about, sell over and over again, and something that your audience needs. So that goes hand in hand with determining your target market. So decide if that's, if you're going in the OBM direction, do you want to work with coaches in the health industry? Do you want to work with more like corporate? Maybe your background is super corporate and you know a lot of these like project management platforms that are really beneficial to these corporations. Go in that direction. Go with whatever two things combined. Your heart feels, very important, and two, where your skills are. So then number two here is decide how you're going to receive payment. So whether it's Stripe, PayPal, Venmo, you can use all of these different services. When it comes to accepting payment, just choose one and confidently ask for payment and know how you're going to accept it. And anything that is in place that comes along with that, like PayPal, is going to charge a little bit of a percentage fee with it. So make sure that you let your client know that in advance and account for that. Stripe has a processing fee that you're paying for on the back end. So just make sure that you've worked that into your budget. And then, of course, there's Venmo, but you're going to need to track your expenses with that, as with all of these things, and make sure that you know where your money is coming in, where it's going out, and be able to account for it when it comes to taxes. Create invoices using Google Docs, Wave, etc. So there's a lot of different platforms that you can use for this. I personally use Wave. It's a very easy way to invoice clients. I turn off the option to accept credit card payments because I don't accept credit card payments because those have processing fees. Instead, I include my Zelle information within my invoice. Google Docs is another easy way. They have templates. You can just go in and type, invoice template and personalize it, put your logo on there, brand colors, fonts, things that feel good to you, put all of your information, address, name. You can include a photo, and then include how you want to be paid, whether it's a Stripe link, a PayPal link, a Venmo link. Zelle, again, is another option. So just include all of your information there. A legal contract. So for legal contracts, when you're a service provider, you definitely want to protect yourself. And there's a few ways to do this. So the one that I've linked here is Legalpreneur. She provides contracts that are like plug and play that you can purchase from her as more of a template and put your information into to protect yourself. There's other ways to do this. Where you can spend some time researching online other service providers and what contracts they're providing. Also with like Flowdesk checkouts, it comes with a terms and conditions built into each checkout page that you can go in and personalize. So just make sure that you have something in place. Number one, to protect yourself. Number two, that's setting clear expectations and guidelines for your clients, so that if there's ever a discrepancy of I thought I was going to get 2 hours with you this month and I only got one. Like, why is that? You have the terms clearly laid out in your contract. That goes with establishing expectations and boundaries from the beginning. So especially if you're an OBM, you want to let people know when you're going to be available and when you're not, and clearly communicate that up front. The beauty of careers in online business is that you can be traveling, you can set your own hours, you can work when you want to, but you have to establish number one, boundaries. Number two, that communication and expectation with your clients so that nobody is left feeling like, where are you? Where's the work? And if something's ever going to be late, you are proactive about communicating that. Or better yet, you're getting your stuff done early and submitting it when it feels good. Tracking income and expenses. This is a free template I've created for you guys right here. You can click on it. I use this template myself. I've been doing my taxes this way for 3 years now. I've been a freelancer for 8+ years, but I've been doing my taxes this way for the last 3 years, and I found it really, really helpful to be able to manage all of my expenses. Ask for feedback constantly to ensure that you're growing and providing value. So you want to, no matter what industry you're in, always be asking for feedback. So let me give you an example. in October of last year, I attended a digital nomad house in Colombia. And the retreat leader for this experience said verbally that they were available for feedback when we started the program. But then as the weeks went on, we spent a whole month together. It didn't feel totally comfortable, and there didn't feel like a clear method in order to provide feedback. So the best way to do this is to constantly be asking for it. Number one, let people know that you're open to it. And number two, you could provide a feedback form, something that could be anonymous, and you could do it at a midway check-in with your clients. You could do it at the end of the program, but I encourage you to do it more often than just the start and the end, so that you're always open to it, you're growing, you're always on the same page as your clients, and it makes everything a lot more smooth. Number 8 here is talk about your services so people know that you exist. This is huge, right? How are people going to hire you if they don't know what you have to offer? So point blank, just start talking about it, whether that's on social media or in person. Number 9, stay on top of your to-do list. So this is specifically for my OBMs. Of course, in any online business, you're going to want to stay on top of your stuff. But as an OBM, your role for your clients is to be on top of everything so that they can be less on top of everything. You want to make sure that you know where all the moving pieces are, where the rest of the team is. You're going to be jumping into a management position. OBM is online business manager. So you're managing other people, you're managing yourself. Sometimes you're even managing your client and telling them what they should be working on to keep them on track. So just make sure that you have a system in place for yourself. I listed some options here that you could do that with. I basically run my whole business through the Notes app on my phone and Google Docs, but some people really like project management platforms like ClickUp. So things to explore. And then the last thing here is networking, building relationships with other service providers, and finding potential clients. So I've linked my informational interviewing toolkit here for you if that's something that you want to explore. But it's a really great way to just start having conversations with people when you're in a non-traditional role. And you really just want to focus on building relationships with other people who do things that are similar to you and things that could provide you the opportunity to grow, as well as complementary skills that are maybe things that are not your specialty. So you could always refer people out if you needed to. It's also a great way to find potential clients because, again, people can sometimes refer to you, or you're going to be building these relationships with people that might need you down the line. So you're playing the long game with this one, but it's really important. One thing I want to note before we go is with the nice to have list, you'll see setting up a website, growing your email list, and things on here. And I think this is something that really surprises people. They're like, oh, the first thing I should do is set up a website, or the first thing I should do is pay for an email platform. And sometimes these are flashy, shiny things that make us feel like we've accomplished something, but they're kind of jumping the gun. So we want to make sure that we have these 10 things in place with an actual client who is paying us before we start to spend time and money on these things. They're really great to have, and you will get to a point where you're growing and scaling and you need these things. But these are the must-have things that you have to start with. So I wish you the best of luck in starting your business. And remember, I'm always here. If you need anything, you can reach me on Instagram or at my email anytime you have questions. And I have one-on-one coaching services if you want more specific coaching, as well as specific to OBMs who want to grow their business. So reach out anytime.